So I was kind of hoping to get started on the AFI's Top 100 list today, but unfortunately, owing to circumstances beyond my control, I have not been able to get my hands on a copy of Ben-Hur. Fortunately, there are still plenty of other movies for me to review, and so we're going to continue with the favorites list.
Remember, you're a wizard.
On second thought, let's not go camera.
Time travel, as you wish.
Where's the door to that other garden?
What?
The one with all the ivy. I didn't see a door.
There isn't one.
There has to be a door somewhere.
No one's been inside that place for 10 years.
Why?
Why? Why, because when she died, Master gave orders to shut it up forever.
Who died? My aunt died. It was her garden, wasn't it?
If you've watched a few of my book reviews, then you probably already know that I absolutely adore Frances Hodgson Burnett. She wrote children's novels in the early 20th century, and yet surprisingly, her novels still really hold up today in a way that other novels written during that same era don't. And in the early to mid-90s, Warner Brothers produced 2 movie adaptations of her 2 most popular novels. A Little Princess, which I already talked about in my Books vs. Movies review, and this one, The Secret Garden. If you haven't seen the movie, read the book, or encountered this story in any way, then I implore you to do so. This is a wonderful story about bringing life to seemingly lifeless places, and this 1993 movie, starring Kate Maberly, Hayden Prowse, and Maggie Smith, is a wonderful adaptation of that story. We follow the story of the recently orphaned Mary Lennox, who is forced to live with her only remaining relative in the gloomy Misselthwaite Manor.
Your uncle isn't going to trouble himself about you. That's for sure and certain. He never troubles himself about anybody.
During her stay there, she discovers many secrets that the manor holds, including the identity of a crying boy in the night, and of course, a secret garden. So why is this movie a favorite? Well, there are a couple of reasons. First of all, the theme of bringing things back to life is exemplified in the imagery throughout the movie. I especially love the depiction of Misselthwaite Manor and how dead it looks as Mary explores it.
The house seemed dead, like a spell had been cast upon it.
And through some rather subtle lighting effects, we can see things go from a cold, dead look to a more lively, robust look. But of course, what really drives this story and this movie are the characters. The movie in particular looks more closely at the character of Mrs. Medlock, the housekeeper from Misselthwaite. Though Mrs. Medlock is the main antagonist in this version of the story, she's also a sympathetic character. We can see that despite her harsh ways, she honestly does care about her charge and wants him to become healthier. She's just misguided as to how, which, let's face it, is the early 20th century, so that's pretty commonplace. She's portrayed by Dame Maggie Smith, who is one of those actors who just improves any movie she's in by her mere presence.
You could be clotting. She probably turned your chair over. I won't stand for it. Not anymore. I won't stand for any of it. Come on, John.
They really did a good job finding 3 excellent child actors to play the main 3 children. I love Kate Maberly's portrayal of Mary Lennox. They played her up as more imperial than apathetic, but this works in this movie because it helps to complement the very imperial attitude of Colin later. And they really do play up the relationship between these 2 cousins. I especially love this scene where Colin is throwing a temper tantrum and everyone else is afraid to go near him, except Mary.
I hate you! Everybody hates you! You're so selfish. You're the most selfish boy there ever was.
I'm not as selfish as you are. Just because I'm always ill.
Nobody ill could scream like that.
And the character of Dickon as the voice of Hope rounds out the trio nicely. There's also a little bit of romance between the characters, but it's not forced, as many children's movies are prone to do. Now, all of this is not to say that there aren't some problems with the movie. They try to look more closely into the lives of Mary's mother and Colin's mother, but they don't do it very well, and it kind of comes off as a half-assed attempt. There are a couple of dream sequences that are way over the top and ultimately unnecessary. The actor who plays Archibald Craven is, quite frankly, awful. And one of the things that I like about Burnett's novels is that rather than talking about magic as some sort of mystical element, she talks about magic as the everyday miracles that happen all around us. And while we do see that in the movie, they also portray magic as more of a mystical element, which I feel kind of undermines Burnett's original message. Still, for all that, this is an excellent movie. It's one of the better family-friendly movies I've seen, and it is definitely still a favorite of mine. So thanks for joining me. If you haven't seen The Secret Garden yet, definitely go check it out, and until next time, happy viewing. Hello everybody, 3 quick things from the literary world. First of all, for those of you who are bound to ask, yes, there will be a Books vs. Movies review of The Secret Garden. Second, congratulations to all children's and YA novelists who won awards and honors today. And third, remember. This is a wonderful story about bringing dead things to life. That makes it sound like a zombie apocalypse.